bari biyo ken kontan batale bari inatal pour kan bullo ko jibe
ito kontan tale makura bari ala ya lonte man kontan de makura kana nyina ko teninte belbe tuba dudula kilimoto
o moto nyalti kay
ngokko di baka to ngokina jang pour yena dula dada ni tata na dula to makura ala ya lon njuso malla ama hani futa dula din anu birite loro commencé woni bitema ama hani me
no ama me to nyalom
ke bara fonye mune muy la kulloti
ndela kullu balu waldi
baluo way fo baluo ko loro fanankele
ikal loro fanankele
nyin kunne soniyata ta www.baluo.com anim baluo isela bulloran jorangol be sang anila kudula asatare mambata jorangol membu ko sementol kenyo babarol nil peruol woni nga nyon jamal ta baluo.com yin jorangol be sang ila dinkira bado adungite batala je anim baluo ifangole marate la kudula.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, Takaful Fund, management of Zakat, management of Awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Two very important task force. One is to look into land administration in the various government layout, and the other task force which is designated to look at the land administrations or to do an investigation, a thorough investigation on land allocation, land administration, land allocations in the Tambi wetland, Cape Point, and the bypass from Abuko to Joshua. So, as you would all know, this is going to be a very important assignment, and that's why the Honorable Minister took his time to look at people with expertise, and people with strong background and with good past records to be able to assist the ministry to do this investigation thoroughly and then come out with a very comprehensive report to be able to guide the ministry with very effective recommendations which the ministry intends to implement to improve our governance of the land administration of the ministry, but also to improve the image of the Minister of Lands and also the confidence. So this is why you have been identified to serve in this various task force, so that we are able to come up with this very good assignment for the Ministry of Lands. The composition of the task force, apart from the individuals identified by the Honorable Minister, we also have the relevant ministries that have direct bearing and direct stakeholder ministries that are relevant to help to be able to support this investigation. So basically, this is why we are gathered here today. The way we're going to arrange this inauguration is I do the opening remarks, but then I'll call on my colleague PS to also make a statement, and then invite two of the task force members.
Chairman.
Yes, the chairpersons. We agreed for sake of gender representations to call Mr. Tal to make a statement, but also Madam Geneva Nyang also.
The chairman will make a statement.
Yes.
We'll invite Geneva to make a statement, but then the two chairmen, each of them will speak. And eventually then Geneva can make a statement.
No problem.
Because we feel that she's the only woman in the committee.
All right, okay.
It's always an oversight, but looking for people to be able to serve, it wasn't an easy task.
Yes.
Am I right?
We agree, Honorable. Thank you for that. So we will basically go by that recommendation. So on that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would now invite my colleague P.S. to make the statement before we call the two chairmen, and then Madam Geneva Nyang also to do a statement. Then finally we'll cap it off with a statement from inaugural statement from the Honorable Minister.
Protocol-wise, Geneva will speak, and when he speaks, then Keba will speak, then Tal will speak.
No problem.
All right?
It is my honor to welcome you all to this important press conference on behalf of the Honorable Minister of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs. Today, we gather to inaugurate two crucial task forces dedicated to investigating illegal encroachments within the Tambi wetlands of Cape Point and Joshua, as well as encroachment within the designated government layouts. The Ministry of Lands, Regional Government and Religious Affairs is steadfast in its commitment to implementing comprehensive reform programs aimed at enhancing transparency, efficiency, and sustainability in land management and governance. Our initiatives are designed to address long-standing issues, streamline processes, and ensure equitable access to land for all Gambians. Key areas of our reform program include modernizing land administration, enhancing legal and regulatory frameworks, promoting sustainable land use, strengthening institutional capacities, and increasing public administration. These reforms are essential for fostering a more transparent and accountable and inclusive land governance system. We aim to create a robust framework that supports sustainable development, promotes social justice, and ensures fair and equitable distribution of land resources for the benefit of all Gambians. Moving on to why we are here today, the Tambi wetlands are an invaluable ecological asset that supports a diverse range of flora and fauna and plays a crucial role in maintaining the environmental health of our country. Similarly, our designated government layouts are vital for orderly urban development and the sustainable use of our land resources. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the formation of this task force is a proactive measure to address and resolve these pressing issues. Their mandate is to thoroughly investigate illegal activities and recommend appropriate actions to rectify the situations and prevent future occurrences. The media's role in this process is invaluable, and we are grateful for your presence and your commitment in keeping the public informed. Your support and vigilance help us uphold the principles of transparency and accountability. We have full confidence in the abilities and dedications of the members of the task forces to carry out their critical task with the highest standards of integrity and diligence. Therefore, on that note, I welcome you all today and thank you very much.
For us to be selected to embark on this big task is really an honor for all of us. I think I speak for all of us when I say that. PS1 has mentioned that this is an important exercise. And it is important because over the years we have seen a lot of conflicts related to land, not only in the Greater Banjul area, but I think beyond the Greater Banjul area. And things are getting worse and worse. We hear about these things every blessed day. So I think for the ministry itself, under the leadership of the Honorable Minister, to lead this, to embark on such an exercise, and for us to be elected is really an honor. I will assure you, Honorable Minister, Permanent Secretary 1 and 2, that we will do our utmost. We will do the best we can, because this is really a big task that you have shown us. So we will do our best to ensure that we will support you. We will help you in any way we can, so that things are properly put in their right place. I think I speak for all the members when I say this. Land is indeed important. I have said that before. We use it for various purposes, but over time, it has become a problem. It has become a source of conflict, you know, for so many communities. But we will help you, Honorable Minister. We will support you. Thank you very much.
My colleagues in the task force, members of the press, on behalf of my colleagues in the task force, I have the honor to express sincere gratitude to you, the Honorable Minister, in bestowing confidence and responsibility on us to serve in the task forces to investigate land transactions in various government layouts in the Gambia. This formidable task force, or the team that you have appointed, has a fundamental job at hand, as the task before us is challenging. The problems associated with land administration in the Gambia are numerous, but inshallah, we will live up to the expectations. Honorable Minister, I think I'll have to take this opportunity to state that as a former director of lands, an efficient land administration, ownership, holdings, uses cannot be adequately achieved without a sound land policy that ensures effective implementation of the administration of our land resources. A proper implemented land policy is a pillar to achieving socio-economic growth and development. Honorable Minister, I humbly affirm that this task force will do its utmost to meet the goal and objectives of our terms of reference. Thank you very much.
I'm honored to be a member of this team. We were in the waiting room, all of us, for the first time meeting one another. I said, Mr. Minister, I looked at the team, I said, wait a minute, it seems that I'm the oldest here. I'm going to take my responsibility. We don't know each other. Let's introduce ourselves. Rather than sitting here and looking at each other, we all introduce ourselves. So we started talking over there. It's an honor. And also to congratulate you for putting this task force. Land issue is not only Gambia, it's all over the world. In the Middle East, Hamas, etc., is about land. In Gambia in the 50s, we who witnessed the Jara Tonachaba fighting of land field. First time the field force went with tear gas and it was all talked over in the country was about land. Recently, we have seen what is happening in the Greater Banjul area. It's catastrophic. We have seen the Alkalolus giving double allocations. These are all triple. We have seen reserve lands, waterways, biodiversity-rich areas being allocated for residential area. One thing I'll congratulate, for the first time you're having a task force with environmentalists. because you cannot allocate land without looking to the environmental impact of where. I said that in certain areas, if you take Monkey Park, the monkeys who are living there is human beings who went there and met them in their habitat. That's why they are jumping over the streets. That's why we in the international scene, if you go to Kenya, we tell that you move over where the lions are. So we have to share. So we have to look at how to make a win-win situation. That is a great thing. It's not going to be easy. Some areas have been developed already, but the law is the law.
We'll demolish
I will tell you, Mr. Chairman, in my leadership, I don't have any fear. We just follow the law. Land reform for governance, transparency, equitable, and that's the key word, equitable distribution of land, and sustainable development. I've been learned that sustainable development, the simplest definition is the three-legged stool. If you cut one leg, it will fall. One is environment, one is economic, one is social. They all go together. That's what we are going to do, and hopefully we'll be able to come with recommendation that will solve the problem that you want to solve. It's not an easy task, Mr. Chair, but Allah has shown us the way. In Surah Al-Bahara, the last ayah, 286 said, La yukallifu nafsan illa usaha laha ma kasabat wa alayha man kasabat. That is, any heavy task, Allah will make it light for you. And we pray to Allah that He will make it light for all of us. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Madam Permanent Secretary and Mr. Permanent Secretary, Deputy Permanent Secretaries, Directors, senior government officials, members of the committees, task force, and of course, the media at large. It is an important moment for us as we, as a government, have always said that we will never be tired in trying to get things right. I think President Barrow, when he was assigning me this ministry, he said, I'm giving you one of your biggest tasks, but I know you've done it somewhere. Hopefully, I have no doubt you will get it done in other places. And that we need to really look at the Ministry of Local Government and correct it and do the right things there. He believes there is a lot of things that needs to be done. When I came here 2 days, 3 days, I went to him, I said, I know why you brought me to this ministry. I said, it's a huge task, and no single individual can do it. I said, I cannot do it alone. We have a team there, but we need to really invite men and women of expertise to help us get it done. It is a huge task. Huge in the sense that we are at a crossroad as a nation. And I always said it's important that Gambians understand the danger that we face when it comes to land. We are the 5th most densely populated country in Africa. Among them, all of them, with the exception of Mauritius, and the others have gone to war, killed each other on the issue of land. Thank God we are safe for the time being. But you all know that the United Nations, the AU, ECOWAS, everybody believe the next crisis of Gambia, if we don't manage, will be on land. The imminent danger to this country would be on land crisis. Therefore, as a government, we cannot sit idly and sit down and watch things happening without addressing it. And that's why we felt rather we have to do the right thing. And in doing that, the Gambian would appreciate at least we're doing something to correct the wrongs of the last 50 years or so. You cannot run a ministry for 60 years, close to 60 years. You never had a policy that would dictate and drive the strategies. Because it's the policy that would dictate the strategy. It's a strategy that you will implement to address the issues as you move on. And that's why you are all aware that with the support of the World Bank and other international agencies, we are now we are working on a policy, and everybody's involved in this policy. We hope the first draft will come out in the month of April 2025. That would certainly go a long way in trying to address some of the problems that we had in this ministry. And then going further, we also believe that the current trend, as the chairman of the Environment Committee, Tangi Wetland Committee have said, The crisis today are escalating to a level that it is alarming. I was at my home 2 days ago. Around 7 o'clock, I saw a man came in with someone, looking furious, very angry. I said, let me pray, Maghrib. He said, no, he just want to see me now. He said a truck came, people came to evict him from his home that he built for 20-something years with his family and everything. Spent all his life building that house. That somebody went got a judgment against him that he does not own the land originally, he owns the land. When he's got his own documents himself. To be evicted in that manner, for him it was like killing him, taking the dead body in front of his children. Just these are many of we see every day here. So many problems every day that we look. I cannot imagine. I always ask the question, why when you steal a car, you are charged and taken to police? Even the buyer is charged. But when you steal land, you are not charged to court. Why? The same country, the same laws. Nobody have answered my question. I can steal your land, go and sell it. When I'm caught, I'm not charged for stealing. The buyer is not charged for buying stolen material. But when I steal your car, they would charge me for both crimes, both the buyer and the thief. Why the difference in the law? Why is it discriminatory? People are committing crimes on daily basis, selling what does not belong to them, and they go free. Agencies in the name of estate agencies rob an entire family, people. Preliminary report shows what is known, minimum $200 million have been defrauded from Gambians in the name of estate agency, and they are walking in the streets freely. How can we continue with that in a society? Can that continue? It cannot. Somewhere, somehow, we must say that, look, that has to be there. And that's why we believe that this task force will help us. And being in office, holding an office, does not give you ownership of people's land. Whether you are a minister, director, permanent secretary, official, whatever, you don't own the land. You are an officer employed to help manage the usage of that land. It does not give you automatic ownership. Who are you to be giving land without going to due process? Who are you? Because you are an employee of the ministry. You are like any other government employee. And then we've seen double allocation everywhere. The recent report we got on Salaji, is it Salaji layout? Yet to come public is a very bad reading. Terrible reading. Very bad reading. And these are deliberate things done by people who don't fear the law. That's one thing I am wondering, why don't people fear the law in the Gambia? I fear the law, I fear policemen so much, people who enforce the law, judges and magistrates. Here some people here don't care whether there is a police arresting you, or whether there is a judge, or whether there is a magistrate, or going to prison. For them, they can commit crime when it comes to land, and they always get free out of it. This is the question that Gambians need to address. We have to go back to the drawing board and say, look, this is our small country. We need, and you know what? We are highly densely populated with a very small piece of land. Even where to do farming, most of us don't have now. And the most dangerous thing is, those who own this land, who travel to the diaspora, are coming back for their land when their parents have gone, coming back to mechanical farming. And that is putting more pressure on the issue of land. When they come, they claim their land. Say, this is my father's land, I want my father's land. And other people seem to be hanging on their lands. And this is another potential crisis that is emerging. People don't take land for a joke anymore in the Gambia. And that's why we need to really put the line straight to come out with issues that we can understand. We have chosen you because you are trusted, and we are entrusting you with this responsibility. Mr. Keba Njai, we all know, works in this ministry. I will tell you why I choose him to be chair for that committee. He was the one who implemented the Baji Commission That's him here. He implemented the Baji Commission to the letter when he was serving in this ministry. This was 1995? No. What time was this, Keba? 80s. The Baji Commission of the 80s. He implemented it to the letter. So he knows this field, he knows this ministry very well. He knows land administration in the Gambia very well. And that's why we got people of credibility to work with him. We want the facts. One day out, we put it before. Let the Gambian people decide. And I can tell you that this government will decide. We will not hesitate to implement your recommendations, to correct the wrongs, and set a new pace for this country in managing our land and our land usage. For Bai Master, we know this man. He spent all his life in working for environmentalists all over the world. He's been all over the world as an expert. We know he has a passion in protecting environment. Minister Jaju is one of the most respectable personalities in this field too. Although he served the Jammeh government, but even when we came to power, we saw the good thing he was doing. The minister was asked to get him as an advisor, to help him. And he wanted to go further, but fortunately he got an international job, who had a special passion for this Tangiwek land area. So with all others we have in that committee too, we believe that they will do us a fantastic job. And that's why we believe that this task force, Gambians are looking forward to it. One thing I'm adding to this, there are lands you need to investigate. What are those lands? Some of the lands of Yahya Jammeh that were not submitted to government as part of his assets, they were not submitted by this ministry. We will task you to investigate them. These are, let me read them out. Jammeh was believed to have owned 50 hectares of land in Jambur village. They were not brought to the subcommittee or technical committee that was working on the Jammeh asset. That sub-technical committee submitted to this cabinet subcommittee on Jammeh asset, and that cabinet subcommittee submitted that matter, that report to cabinet, and cabinet made recommendation, of which some of those lands were retained, some of the other lands were sold, and some of the other lands were kept for government usages in the future. These lands were not part of that. And the people, this government want to know what happened with those lands. What happened to them? The 50 hectares in Jambu, the Manduwar village size, 51 hectares in Manduwar, the Madiana Burfoot, 2 kilometers, about 332 by 645 meters wide. The Sanyang Santamba, 3 hectares. Sanyang village, 1.6 hectares. And Manduwar village, 51.5 hectares. And also Gunjur town, land opposite Gunjur Beach Hotel. We want to know, as a government, what happened to these lands. And we want this committee to help us, give us the information, their status, what happened, who did what. And indeed, the 66 hectares at Kasakunda, I know that the police are doing some investigation on it, but we are saying it should be part of what we want you to investigate and tell this ministry, this government, for us to take further direct measures on it. And I would get the permanent secretary to submit you the list, written list of these lands, so that we should be able to get a clear picture of what happened. The ministry is working. We are looking for any other lands that we are not submitted that belongs to ex-President Jammeh and that are supposed to by the recommendation and the adoption of the Janneh Commission. We will make sure that this ministry will send these things to these committees if we discover any further lands. We'll inform you. Why were they not submitted? What happened to them? Who did what? Who gave what directives? The status of these lands? We want to know. It's important that we know. And the Gambian people need to know. So we are giving you this huge task because, as I said, you are trusted and we are entrusting you with this responsibility. I hope within 6 weeks, maximum 2 months, we should be able to receive a report that we can present for consideration, and subsequently then we'll see our further directives on this based on your recommendation. On that note, once again, on behalf of the President and the government of the Gambia, and on behalf of the permanent secretaries and members of the staff of this ministry, we thank you for accepting the task. There are few that could not make it today, but they will join you tomorrow because they have already prior engagement. But they have called to say that they will join you tomorrow. And the various chairmen will be submitted the list of, and I think it's important you read out the list of personnel in each of these committees for the benefit of the public and also the press. Give them the names of these, each of them name out the members of that committee for the good of, for the press. On that note, once again, I will let our friend Mr. Usman Jaju to give us the closing remarks, and then we'll invite you for 2-3 questions because it's cabinet day. I have to be in cabinet the next few minutes, but we'll give you 1 or 2 questions, not more than that. Thank you. Thank you.
I won't keep you long. I want to re-echo and reaffirm our commitment. As my boss, he was my former minister, by my style said, this is a very important task, and our commitment would be reflected in the work that we are going to do, and hopefully the recommendations that we will put forward to you. Once again, thank you for this opportunity, and we want to assure you that we'll be up to the task very soon. Thank you.
Their mandate is already, TOR is already specified for them. Wherever there is a government layout throughout the country is what they will work on. The first question. Second question. When I became minister, one thing I discovered, that yes, it's not correct that only senior government officials were given land. That is slightly not correct, just for your help. What I have discovered is ordinary people were given land. People who are struggling to pay rent, who are struggling to get the next meal. You know what they do? Next door they go and sell the land. Those who have money buy this land. 4 years, 5 years down the line, they go develop it, make millions out of it. And then build houses. So the poor comes back to rent more expensive house again and start struggling and struggling. When I looked at this, I felt there should be a solution to this. And this government, under the auspices and the direction and the leadership of President Adama Barrow, we are now initiating a program of what we call affordable housing scheme in the country. We want to build houses that are affordable for Gambians with a long-term mortgage of 25, 30 years. The rent you are paying will now go into the cost of your house. So you are not paying rent to a businessman or businesswoman who will be enriching himself, but you will be paying rent for your own house. And in doing that, there are too many other factors that we needed to act on. That is in the mortgage bank. 2 weeks ago, the Minister of Finance wrote to IMF for them to come and help set up a mortgage bank, because already there is somebody who's working on a mortgage bank. That we have done already. IMF is very willing to come. The Gambia government is setting up a task. A technical committee and a directorate of housing will be, from the fiscal, will be moved to the ministry, and the ministry now will designate permanent secretary Sankare to head that unit. We are now working with other government agencies and permanent secretaries and directory who will come as a technical committee. We have discussed with our international financiers. We hope we will see them in the Gambia very soon. And what we need now is to come out with a design, and also that design will now give us a cost of at least the 10,000 houses we want to start with. We want to start between 5 and 10,000 houses by December 2025. And that would certainly address the issue of pathway, the issue of housing. The UN Habitat talks about 90,000, but I believe now Gambia needs 200,000 houses for us to be comfortable. 200,000 is what we need. But that's why the issue of land management becomes very key. If we allow them to be abusing these lands like that, when that project commences, where will you put it? Where will it happen? And that's why this task force is important, so that we can do what we call land banking. So once you have land banking, when you have a project like this, you just go and tell them, they start work. But when you don't do land banking, when you have a project like this, you have nowhere to put them. And that's why we need to stand firm. As I said, this is not an issue of an individual. The Gambia government is set, but Gambia government can only achieve this collectively with everybody on board, so that the issue of housing is addressed once and for all. So we are working, and I think we'll get there. We are determined to, we'll raise the money. We have started discussions, and the discussions are so far very good. The signals are excellent. Everybody wants to be on board, including UN Habitat, everyone. We've met them, we've discussed with them, and the green light so far is really bright. And hopefully, by the time this task was finished, this recommendation will derive from there, which area do we need to bank. I don't believe in giving people land, particularly those who cannot build it. You end up impoverishing them, enriching others for nothing. And I think I met some of my colleagues in a recent conference, was it in Kigali? One of my friends told me, I've built so far 15,000. One of the others said, I built 120,000 as at the end of May. And I need to build 200,000 houses for, they even have a lot of system. They have what they call housing tax. You know, we're working with the World Bank to study how it happened in those countries. You know, in land transaction, we can impose a tax to collect more money, to build you more houses that you can go and feel comfortable. We discovered very sad things. You know, I interact a lot with the people. I am so much with people I interact. There are people when they retire, they have nowhere to go in the army or the police. They cannot leave the barracks. You know why? They don't have somewhere to go. And that's a serious disaster. Somebody serve you for so many years, he retire, he has nowhere to go. That we need to address. We saw people who die, immediately after death, 2 weeks, they give them notice to leave the house because they cannot pay. We have to address this. This must be addressed. And the only way we can address this is by creating an affordable housing scheme. We cannot buy what these agencies are selling to us. Where will I get $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $5 million to buy a house? How long will you end up to pay? Even as a minister, you want to buy a house for $5 million, when will you end up paying that house? For the rest of your life. So we want to make sure that we get houses that can house the majority of Gambia. Yes, there are those top class among the elite, who 10% maybe, who can buy the expensive houses that people are selling. But the majority of Gambians cannot afford that. So we now have to devise a system how to help them address that is by building houses for people, using mostly local materials probably. In fact, particularly these red bricks, you go to countries like Cape Verde and other countries now, they're using local material, more solid than cement, are building comfortable, solid, durable houses, and less cost for them. Because if you want to use cement for everything, you end up being, you know, putting yourself at a very high cost. So I think our engineers, our technicians, our experts, our environmentalists will look at how we can develop a new housing scheme that what we call affordable housing, that you and I and others can really be comfortable and then be so that they have a house to live before at least they leave this world or before they retire.
Cool to, at this moment, to share the membership of the 2 task force committees that are instituted by the minister. Like I said, the first task force is the one that's going to investigate on the land transaction in the Tambi wetland, Cape Point, and bypass area. That is the Apuku Joshua. The chairman of that committee is by Master, and the members are Mr. Bolon Sonko, Pa Usman Jaju, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Environment, Inspector General of Police, or his representative, Solicitor General, or his representative, and Director SIS, or his representative. The other task force is the one that is going to investigate the land transaction in various government layouts and reserve lands. And the chairman of that task force is Mr. Kevanjai. Then you have the Inspector General of Police, you have the Solicitor General, you have the Director SIS, Director General SIS, Madam Jenna Banyang, Mr. Yankuba Sonko, Mr. Madi Sise, and Mr. Kemo Conte. These are the task force members. Thank you.
And the ministry also will have official.
Of course, yeah. In each of the task force, yes, the permanent secretary will be represented.
Yes. Madi, no. Madi is an accountant. Yes. Madi Sise is not Madi. Check. Can you correct that? It's Madi.
Madi
Sise. Yeah, he's an accountant. An auditor too, by extension.
Thank you very much.
Madi Fafa Sise. I think his correct name is Madi Fafa Sise.
Islamic microfinance is becoming an increasingly popular mechanism for poverty alleviation, especially for developing countries around the world. This microfinance service adheres to the principles of Islam as a form of social responsibility. Yona Islamic Microfinance is the Islamic microfinance of choice in the Gambia, trustworthy and reliable. At Yona Islamic Microfinance, we provide savings products, current accounts, financing products in conformity with Islam. In addition, Yona Islamic Microfinance also offers local and international remittances, Takaful Fund, management of Zakat, management of Awqaf, trading and investment, and building of strategic partnerships to bring financial services to the doorstep of the poor with donor projects, madrasas, youth organizations, women groups, and farmer organizations. Make a choice with Yona Islamic Microfinance today. For more information on Yona Islamic Microfinance, call 377-2151 or 9832-151 or visit Yona head office at Tipa Garage, Bakote, or visit any Yona branch located countrywide near you.
Yeah, bari biyo ken kontan batale. Bari inatal pour kanna bunlo ko jibe.
Ito kontan tale makura. Bari ala ya lonte mon kontan de. Makura kana nyina ko teninte belbe tuba dudula kilimoto.
Woto nyalti kay.
Ngoko di bakato ngoki nan jang pour yena dula dada. Ni tata na dula to makura. Ala ya long njuso malla. Ama hani futa dula to dula din. Anu birite loro commencé woni bitema. Ama hani me.
No, ama me to nyalom.
Ke bara fonye mune muy la kulloti.
Ndela kullu balu waldi.
Baluo. Wai, fo baluo ko loro fanankele.
Ikka loro fanankele.
Nyen kunne soniata ta www.baluo.com. Anim baluo isela bulloran jorangol be sang anila kudula asatare mambata. Jorangol membuko sementol, kenyo, babarol, nil, peruol, woninga nyon jamal. Ta baluo.com. Yen jorangol be sang ila dinkira bado adungite batala je. Anim baluo ifangole marate la kudula.